let's make a fresh rabbit pot pie. Let's get started.
Start off with putting 2 pounds of rabbit in a heavy pot. And then you're just going to add some vegetable scraps to add some flavor. So I have 5 cloves of garlic, and then I'm just going to trim the ends off of this onion so that we can throw those in. We are then going to throw in a few sprigs of thyme. I just went out to the garden and picked these. I think sage goes really well with rabbit, so I'm also going to add in 1 bunch of sage, and then trim the ends off of the carrots. Go ahead and throw that in, and any of the celery that has greenery on it, just go ahead and throw the greenery in the stock pot as well. And lastly, we're going to add 2 chicken bouillon cubes. And then we're just going to go ahead and cover that in water, just so that it covers the vegetables and the rabbit. And we're going to pop this on the stove for about 2 hours. We're going to bring it up to a boil, and then once it gets to a boil, we're going to simmer for 2 hours on medium low. That way the rabbit gets really tender and we can shred it for the pot pie. And then we're going to take a dry white wine. I have a Savi B I just opened, and throw about half a cup of white wine in that pot as well to cook with the rabbit. Now that we have the rabbit on the stove cooking, we're going to go ahead and prep all the vegetables. So 1 yellow onion, just chop it into about 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch pieces. If you don't know what size your onion is, you're really just going to want around a really full packed cup of chopped onion. So that's enough. That's all you need. Then we're just going to chop the carrots up into small pieces as well. You can just cut it into strips. And then since this is all getting cooked at one time, we can just add all of our chopped vegetables into the same bowl. And then next up, we're going to take 2 large potatoes and dice those as well. Then we're just going to put those potatoes in the bowl as well. Okay, that's all the carrots, onion, and potato. Now we're going to go and slice up about half a cup of celery. Go ahead and put that in. I have half a poblano from the garden. I like to add a little bit of heat, and poblanos add a really good flavor as well. If you don't have any pepper, that's fine though. Then we're going to take 4 cloves of garlic. The easiest way to do garlic is just smash it with the side of your knife. That one wasn't good. Just smash it like that, and then just shake the clove right out. See, it falls right out so easily. Then we're just going to go ahead and chop this really fine. Okay, We're going to go ahead and put the garlic in with the vegetables. So we have all of our vegetables prepared. Now you're going to want to go ahead and make my pie crust recipe. That way you can let it sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes. So it's ready when the stock and the rabbit comes off the stove. Next up, we're going to get some thyme, and we're just going to start peeling it off of the stems and putting it in a bowl. We have about 1.5 teaspoons of thyme. I'm going to chop up 5 small sage leaves to put in there as well. So around 1/2 teaspoon. Now we're going to set that off to the side. Now we're going to start the filling. So we're going to put a pan on the stove, either a cast iron or non-stick, and put in a 1/4 cup of butter. Once your butter is melted, we're going to go ahead and dump all of the vegetables in. Go ahead and stir it real good just to get everything coated. Now, we've been cooking this for about 10 minutes, so the vegetables are starting to get soft. We don't want to overcook them. We just want it to get a little bit soft so that the potato especially is going to be able to be cooked fully in the oven. And what we're going to do is now add 1/2 cup of frozen peas. If you don't have frozen peas, that's completely fine. And we're just going to stir those in so they get thawed. Next up, we're going to add 3/4 cup of white wine. And we're going to cook this until pretty much all of the wine has reduced out of it so that it just adds the flavor. And now that the rabbit is tender and has been cooking for about 2 hours, we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And we are going to strain the broth out and take the rabbit out so that we can shred it. Now that we have the rabbit off the stove, we're going to go ahead and take the rabbit pieces. And at this point, it should just be falling apart. Whichever way is easiest for you to do this. We are going to be straining the broth, so you can just take it all out because we're going to be separating the rabbit anyways. Now we're just going to quickly strain the broth. Okay, now we're just going to take the rabbit off of the plate, put it on a cutting board so that we can shred it. You can wait until this has cooled down. And the scraps you can throw in the trash. Now that all of the wine has reduced out of the vegetables, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle 1/2 cup of flour over the vegetables and stir it all in. We're also going to put in our thyme and sage at this point. And then what you want to do is take the broth that we have from the rabbit stock and put 2 cups of it into the vegetables. We're going to go ahead and stir that all in, and then add a 1/2 cup of 1/2 and 1/2. If you don't have 1/2 and 1/2, you can just use 1/2 cream, 1/2 milk, and that will do the trick. We're going to stir that for about 2 minutes until it's thickened. We're going to go ahead and grind in just about a teaspoon of black pepper. We're also going to add a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more or less salt. You can taste it at this point and see if you want more salt. Now that the rabbit has cooled down and the filling is ready, we're going to either shred it with a fork or cut it with a knife. You should be able to just gently shred it like this. If you've used chicken, you can do it the same way. And we're just going to go ahead and put all of that over into the filling mixture. Now that we have all of our rabbit in our filling mixture, we're just going to stir that all up so everything is coated good. Now that the crust has refrigerated and the filling is ready, we're going to go ahead and take the crust out. We're going to chop it in half. So this is a double recipe of my pie crust. Go ahead and flour your counter. Make sure you've cleaned it first. And we're just going to go ahead and start rolling the pie crust out to fit our pan. I am using a cast iron skillet to put my pot pie in, but you can use a pie pan. That works great as well. You're probably going to want to go ahead and sprinkle a little more flour, flip it over just so that it's not sticking. And you can work it a little bit more into a circle. Now that we have our bottom crust rolled out, we're going to go ahead and put the crust in. So you can see it's stuck a little bit. It's one thing you don't want to happen, but we're just going to go like this. In 1/8 and a 1/4 inch thick at this point. So it's thicker than your typical pie crust. We just want it pretty thick for pot pie crust. You can just run a knife around it or a fork. I've used a fork all my life. So you're just going to use the back of the fork and go like this. Okay, so that's the bottom crust. So now we're going to go ahead and start with the top. We're going to roll that out as well. Okay, now you're going to go ahead, whoop, see, and it can rip like that, but it just fixes fast. Going to finish rolling out the top. And we're going to go ahead and fill it with our pot pie filling. We're just going to put as much as we can in, and then you can always make a small pot pie with the extra crust pieces, or just put this in the freezer for another day. And now we're going to go ahead and take the top crust that we have rolled out right here. The easiest way when doing pie crust is always fold it into quarters. That way it's very movable. And we're going to just unwrap this right on top. So put the point in the center of the pie, pot pie in this case, and unfold it. Okay, now you can go ahead and use the fork or knife method again around the edge. I'm just going to use scissors just to give me a little bit of an overhang. A little water on your finger and running it around the top edge of the pie crust. It really helps it seal together better that way and make a good seal so that all of the good filling doesn't come flying out. At this point, you can just poke holes in the top, do a design, whatever you care to do. I'm gonna just do a few holes. Lastly, we're just going to slide it on a pan. That way, if anything runs over, our oven's not terribly dirty, and slide in the oven. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, and this is the final product. So this is a rabbit pot pie. See the cute little rabbit on top? Didn't dump. So now we are going to cut into this and see what it looks like. I'm just going to cut it like a piece of pie just for this first piece. So this is what it's looking like inside. You can see the crust is perfectly cooked on the top and the bottom. It's very thick. It's not runny. Perfect texture.